Dreamhack All-Stars breaking barriers, moving into America for the first ever Dreamhack here in American soil, on American soil, as we do have Dreamhack All-Stars for this summer regional of North America. Final series of the night will go down, and it will be Astral Authority going up against Gale Force. And overall, not exactly the matchup that we came to expect coming out of Group B. And in fact, we can take a look at those groups to kind of re-jog your memory as to how things have been going on so far, not only from Group A, but also now moving into Group B. Cloud9 has been able to be victorious over Team Naventic, and they have put themselves in that front spot going into the round of 4. Now we move on to Group B with Astral Authority and Gale Force getting their wins over Cognitive and Tempo Storm, putting themselves in the winners match. One of these teams will move on to the round of 4 in a moment. Might take a while, who knows, we'll see. But aside from that, on the desk with me, we do have Mr. Jake, we have Dreadnought, and of course we have Jayhow way over there, dunking him everywhere. Can't believe. All right, boys, all right. This is not exactly the matchup we came to really expect from this group.
Yeah, it's like out with the old, in with the new. I mean, these two new teams, the youngest teams here, at least brand-wise, in Heroes of the Storm in North America, and they've completely dismantled our scene, right? Goodbye Cognitive, goodbye Temple Storm. One of those teams are getting 8th place, and that's never happened, like we said earlier.
Yep, it hasn't. And I mean, I'm glad to see it, to be honest. Yeah. I think it brings not only a new taste kind of to the competitive scene, but also like new blood, provides different point of views. We talked about how Cloud9 at times it feels like they can be stale and like stuck into their old roots, right? Whereas these new teams, they very much feel like anything and everything is an option, and they kind of adapt the meta like just by themselves.
I mean, the whole thing with Gale Force, right? I mean, the last month, they just came together, put everybody on a team, brought them from all over the place, and they've been rolling. They've taken down Cloud9 twice in qualifiers. They're moving on here, haven't dropped a set yet. And now they're going up against Astral Authority, who we've been seeing coming along over the last few months. This is very refreshing for the scene right now.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see if Gale Force do end up moving on to the top 4, how they're going to compete and combat some of the teams from Group A, potentially moving on forwards. That's going to be exciting, considering that we've mentioned previously, they have been very confident, very outspokenly confident before this going forward. So it's good to see. On the other side, of course, Astral Authority. I believe we will be starting with Astral Authority. So let's focus down on those guys a little bit. We had Frozen X up here previously for an interview. Seemed quite confident themselves with this newly found position. But they're a team that's gone through a lot, guys. They are a team that's gone through a lot. Let's not mask anything about that. And they've found a stable home. They've found the opportunity to practice in this strong environment, and they're making it work.
They look so comfortable. I mean, I was actually a little bit worried the first time they played on land. That was back last season. And here we are in the spring season, excuse me, summer season, and they look phenomenal, right? They're just top of their game. Equinox has changed the team to make them so much more consistent in aggression. Zoe was saying that earlier. They know how to just make these snap call decisions, turn up the heat, and go ham. They're the only team we've seen play carry in North America in I don't know how long, at least to a successive state like that.
I mean, talking to Astral Authority over the last few weeks, learning their scrim schedule and the amount of time that they put in, you talked about it, they're a younger roster, but the amount of time that they've put in night after night, day after day, the results are showing off here.
Dread, I can imagine you with that hair. Do you think you'd be able to pull it off?
Not like that. Look at that. Look at that pick. That is the logo. That is the Gale Force Esports on the pick.
Yeah.
Really?
Wait, what? No. He showed me it yesterday. Yes. That is legit. That is a Gale Force Esports pick. I mean,
oh my God.
How do you like?
The branding is real.
Yeah. We're done. They win. They've
already won. Might as well hand the tournament to them. You know?
I know.
I mean.
Raffles had a lot of experiences. He played in Heroes of the Dorm with Tennessee, actually made it to the top 4. A lot of ways, really just the playmaker of that team. And Michael Udall, the man himself, his hair is almost as nice as Zoya's.
Almost. Not quite. Sadly, he doesn't have like a comb or a brush that's Gale Force, so I still give it a Crowan. I'm still going with Crowan so far.
But one could say he has oodles and oodles of talent. I did that. I'm really sorry. It's getting late. All right, so moving on as well, we do have, of course, Akaface. Very much known for his Brightwing.
Yep.
I think that's actually probably an understatement.
No, he is like the one true Brightwing at this point. With how long he's held,
He looks like Brightwing.
Really,
the eyes are like that exact Brightwing color.
And Fury, man, he's actually one of the oldest players coming in that are still competitive, starting way back in the day in Alpha, playing with Curse for some period of time. I mean, he's been around for a very long time, and this is probably the most successful team.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of teams.
Yeah.
This is by far the most success he's had, and I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to see. It's one of those things, Dunk kind of brought it up, where it's like seeing these players for a long time in the scene and finally finding a home and like slowly showing some promise here is something that I think is really appealing, and it's awesome to see Fury getting there. But
my favorite part about Fury when we did talk to them yesterday is the fact that Fury and the rest of the team there, they seem to have like this wonderful camaraderie, and they've been together such a short time. The amount of care and attention they talk about how nobody gets tilted, how well they function together. Their team as a whole, and they're looking really good. And if they stay together, even more the experience I think is just going to help. And right now, early results, it's just astounding.
All right, let's move on to Astral Authority on the other side, of course, talking trees, with one or two good plays, I suppose you could phrase it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, just an absolute monster. Definitely one of the bigger playmakers here for the team. But Equinox, their drafter, their shot caller, the newest addition to the team, very happy to be here.
I love him.
Busted out Kerrigan.
Yeah. I would argue the biggest thing that I feel like I've noted from Gale Force Astral after watching the play against Tempo Storm is the shot calling, specifically boss control. Having a very solid understanding when to approach the boss and when not to, and trying to abuse it. Mainly vision is something a lot of people kind of neglect there, not only gaining opportunities to be able to get it with 1 to 2 picks, but doing it in a sense that they approach the boss in a way your opponent doesn't understand you're making that transition and taking it boldly. So I think that's really beautiful aggression.
They did it both on Tomb and they did it on Sky Temple. But think about Sky Temple. They knew the boss was taken, and they did not hesitate to rotate over and get the picks that were even, like you talk about control of the boss, both offensively and defensively. I mean, the shot calling was on point.
Yeah, without a doubt, it does seem that is their major, most drastic adjustment is their shot calling. Obviously, Equinox with the Kerrigan busting out some of those more old school picks, but realistically, I feel like that is it's visible when you watch them, right? Like you literally see that the adjustments made by them, and that's something I would argue if very few teams have you ever seen that happen when it comes to shot calling decision making.
Yeah. It seems like they walk that fine tightrope line where when they're going for a boss, there's kind of Tassadar on one side of this line when he's got his little stick going on. It's like, okay, we can get away with this. We can throw down the force wall and just barely take this just before you arrive. So it is very, very finite details.
And they make it look casual.
Yes.
Right, that's the most impressive part of all of it.
Let's go over there and do what we need to do. That's for sure. They were able to take their first series very, very nicely from what we saw so far. All right, I believe we're good for the map vetoes now, so we should go into those and see how these teams have banned and then most importantly picked up Towers of Doom and then obviously Tomb of the Spider Queen, with Cursed Hollow being picked first for Astral Authority, Blackheart's Bay for Gale Force Esports, not the most common, and then Infernal Shrines to round things out. What are we making of that?
Gale Force busted out Asmoden on Blackheart's Bay just last week in the ESL qualifiers, and they just dismantled Cloud9. Like they, I don't know if they had full stacks, 500 stacks by like the 12-minute marker, if not earlier. It was disgustingly strong.
It's a dream map for him, actually. It's a situation where the map is large enough that he can get his, essentially abuse his passive to get split pushing, but 2 lanes are close enough that he can get free stacks with Wave Clear. So really well done, but we are moving in to Cursed Hollow here, where there are going to be 3 tributes that you can collect in order to disable the structures for your opponents, much like Sylvanas' passive. It is 3 lanes here, and all it takes is a little bit of channel over a short duration of time, and you will be able to pick those up. As you see, again, the minions move to 1 health, everything dismantles, and you are able to siege very, very heavily. Again, one thing to keep in mind when you are looking at Cursed Hollow is actually boss control. It is one of the few win conditions when it comes to this map, because the map objective in disabling doesn't happen when you have the core. So there you see, control of the boss is something every team is going to need when drafting on Cursed Hollow.
I believe there's also 2 bosses. The only map in the entire game that has 2 bosses, so that's actually kind of a tricky, cool element to this map.
Very, very pivotal, and I believe someone has a video on bosses somewhere.
It's not me. I don't think it's Jay.
No, it's not. No. I didn't make that.
Hello?
It might be me. No, never mind. Anyway, all right, so of course that is our map here. Different styles for sure. Boss control is something that's very important. Again, we've seen even Tyrael's banned in this tournament to actually make sure that something like that cannot go down the line. We will be getting into the draft in a bit here once these 2 teams are good to go, but what stands out for you? Could they even pick something like a Kerrigan on this map? Is it less common here? I mean, What,
I don't
what do we
think so.
No.
The rotation potential just isn't there here for
Yeah.
first Hollow, and Kerrigan's way too predictable with her approaches.
Exactly. You essentially articulate the game too quickly because the map is so large.
Yeah.
Even though the Fog of War is there, it's literally like she has to be rotating top. Either that or she'll spend 30 seconds rotating bottom and you're losing presence on the map. So I don't think so, but again, Zoya said it, I think, perfectly, that I will never be surprised if Equinox plays Kerrigan.
I'm okay with that one. I can take that one. Let's get into draft for game number 1 here between Astral Authority as well as Gale Force Esports, as we now have Tyrande and Volstad going to be the bands out, and Illidan straight away picked up by Gale Force.
I already give them a huge advantage, honestly, on this map specifically. They are going to be looking to pick up Tassadar as a response, and we talked about this a lot earlier, that it's usually not the best answer into an Illidan. It denies the pairing, but Tassadar doesn't necessarily thrive into it, so I like that they're posturing more towards the Sonya.
You think they have to deny KT though, right? If they give up Illidan KT, that's just too much.
I agree with you. I think it's something that they need to deny. So Sonya, if they go with the Tassadar
my
instead.
goodness. This is already scary.
Yeah, it is. Gale Force, I think Gale Thos is going to be something that we see out of them.
Michael Udall just looked over like, really? They
He's
didn't pick
hello?
KT?
He's like, team, it's almost, he's like, is this a trap?
They're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of traps, we saw it last game with Naventic. They ran out of supports that they were able to pick up. Uther and Rhaegar were both taken off the board the minute Tassadar was denied there. Is this an opportunity? Do they pick up either Rhaegar or Tassadar this early? I mean, excuse me, Rhaegar or Uther.
I would have, actually, but they opt into taking ETC instead here, trying to go probably with a tank chokehold, obviously. Oh, my goodness. Astral is respecting the one true Brightwing here with a possible ban. I think that's a huge win for Gale Force. Anytime they're drawing a Brightwing ban,
Couldn't
it's a
they
win.
just pick Brightwing to pair with Tassadar and have global presence?
Yes, it is an option, and it's one of the best answers to Illidan and ETC in a lot of situations. It does struggle in the healing department because Kel'Thas, obviously, with a single target damage cleanse is optimal.
Yeah. So
But I don't know.
they're looking at Uther, obviously, so they're just trying to say, hey, look, if you ban Rhaegar or Uther, we're just going to grab the other one.
Yeah, no, they're definitely going to be letting them both through. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Muradin's going to be the ban. He's optimally, he's not only is it going to be a take chokehold, but it's also one of the best tanks against Illidan, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go with that already. But Astral, I think this next 2 picks coming up for them is really going to be telling of their success in this draft, just because I feel like it's the turn. They go with a Lili ban instead. They are afraid of the Lili.
Well,
They did their studying.
Yeah.
They did their homework because Astral Authority has a history of going Lili against the Illidan.
I'm really enjoying this at the moment. Very rarely do I see Brightwing into Lili bans. that's a thing here.
Welcome to
Rarely or
America.
ever.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's okay by me. It's
Can we
okay.
just take a minute to appreciate the last time we saw Lili versus an Illidan? Does anybody remember how that went?
Yeah.
Badly.
I would have let it
work
through.
that well. Well, Gale Force Esports now have the next 2 picks. Obviously, they have a lot of damage already with Kel'Thas and Illidan. Now they just want to complement that. They need their support. Who's on the table? Rhaegar makes perfect sense. But what about that last pick, Dread? What are you thinking?
Falstad is going to be banned out as well. Sylvanas is off the table. Vala is a decent option, but usually you don't want to be going that deep into the pool here. Off the top of my head, yeah, Li Ming actually, and this is one of our better maps.
That's Kale there already. Do you go Kale Li Ming here?
I would, I think. With Tassadar off, a double support isn't too appealing, actually, and Li Ming is going to be, not only this is one of her best maps, but it also is really good to get a large amount of poke. Illidan then hyper-engages onto the backline while they're already weak. Guess what? 1-2 punch, you have the reset. Illidan's dancing on everyone.
I mean, like, looking at this draft, though, I think that this is where I prefer Li Ming's priority
Yes,
being.
I 100% agree with you.
Right?
One of the only times that I'm like, that was perfect prioritization if they do opt into it.
Looking at this draft.
Yeah, and it's hovered, locked in, and I love Gale Force's
That is
comp
such
already.
a scary draft.
Yeah. It's terrifying. So Astral, Muradin, going to be the pickup. I mean, no surprise there, boys.
They just don't have the same kind of burst, right? They have plenty of damage, plenty of utility. Sonya can definitely, chunk through people if she can get the ability to do so. But with Living Bomb and Level Season Kel'Thas and Illidan just flipping all around everyone, and then you throw Li Ming on top of that,
This right here just looks too scary. You could even just ignore what's on the left-hand side of the screen right now, see what Gale Force Esports has, and think to yourself, what happened to the other team? Like, this is a scary draft right here.
It is. It's absolutely terrifying.
Jed, I'm curious for you. Now, Sonya obviously has got some work to do. Is this where Leap comes in? And if so, do you have to stray away from that to respect Illidan? Who kind of initiates there?
I think Wrath is going to be the opportunity here. I don't think Leap is, because they don't have any like major follow-up outside of Wailing Arrow to secure a single target kill. Because that would be my argument. You just hyper-engage on Kael'thas, force the Ancestral there, then kill it in. Like, it's essentially bad Ancestral target. But I don't feel like they have enough follow-up. So I feel like, I want to say, I brought this up before, Divine Storm's always very, very appealing when facing against Illidan, even though we didn't see it before, but this is actually one of the least appealing situations. Uther is going to have a very hard time being able to deal with the raw damage Li Ming, Kael'thas throw out there.
Yeah,
and then it's like
much damage mitigation as possible.
Exactly, and then also you have the Mosh Pit's going to be an opportunity coming out, so you want to be able to save targets from that. So now it suddenly becomes more appealing, but at the same time, you're like, even with that, do you really out-heal the raw damage coming out from Gale Force Esports? I don't think so.
You've got to hope on those Tassadar shields as well, and hope it's going to mitigate quite a bit of it too down the line. But it is scary, for sure. Of course, you can, in theory, take a Leeching Plasma, but like probably going to be Mental Acuity because he's partnered with Uther here from Tassadar.
Yeah, it depends how fearful they are with the Sonya.
I suppose, yeah.
I mean, Sonya is their damage, right? She is pretty much the end-all, be-all. Sylvanas is nice, but Sonya is going to be the one that has to get the kills.
Yeah, Sylv's numbers will naturally look nice because the damage is going to spread.
But it's not bursty.
It's not. It's not. And that's my biggest fear looking at Astral Authority is, do they have enough to follow up and get a kill? They don't have the true engage. They don't have the – but a lot of it revolves around Illidan. But when you have Kael'thas and Li Ming on that back line, that's scary.
Looking at the lineup of AA, when I really look down it, is Wailing Arrow their game changer? Is that what they need to hit perfectly here to be able to take proper fights?
I mean, if they're going to win a fight, I would argue a great Wailing Arrow is probably going to be at the back of it. But at the same time, I'm not convinced that it's going to be paired. Yeah, I'm not convinced it's enough. But if they do end up getting a great fight, Wailing Arrow will be the cause.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but the thing is, do they Wailing Arrow the back line, or do they Wailing Arrow Illidan?
The kill target. Ignore it. So it depends on if the heroics are up. If Rhaegar has his ult, you all go for the silence on him, kill the front line. If it's not up, you get as much burst as you possibly can on whoever's in your face. You kill them, and then hope that the back line's going to be susceptible.
All right, Jake. Actually, I want to go down the line once again and do predictions. That's what I want to do right now because that's what.
You don't even have to finish your statement.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
They have a god comp.
I know. Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm going to really enjoy when this thing comes. Oh, it was already there. All right. Let's see how weighted this is. Gale Force.
I almost don't want to jinx them with my track record so far. Like,
you're not doing too well.
I know, and I almost feel like it's safer just to say like Astral. But I agree. I feel like it's Gale Force, but you know, just for the sake of just not jinxing them, I'll say Astral to keep their hopes and dreams alive.
Wow, thanks very much.
I'm here for the competitors.
Okay.
Storm's coming. Gale Force.
Yeah, all right. And you did predict Gale Force, but I believe that they just don't want to include you as well. I'm going to go over to Gale Force too. Double Dread. Double Dread is so much so.
The faith is there.
One's enough, all right? I have to deal with this guy every single one's enough.
I literally follow him to Europe like it's a problem.
He does. He's like a puppy. I don't.
This desk has been more savage than Twitch chat.
It's only because it's only because I'm here. All right, that's all right. Okay, we are done. Let's get into our final series of the day between Astral Authority and Gale Force with Jhow and Dread.
Dread. Dread, we are looking at the final set of the day. Between Astral Authority and Gale Force Esports. We've seen these teams a lot springing up. Astral Authority being authoritative with their game plan, but Gale Force coming in. I mean, this is it. This is going to put you in a favorable position going in tomorrow. This is going to be huge. And it is going to be on Cursed Hollow here, and on the left here,
it's Astral Authority. Talking Trees, the playmaker, is going to be on that Tassadar.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. Frozen X is going to be
it's going to be on the Sylvanas.
That's the Sylvanas. That's the Sugar Plum. All right, we've got Chimera there on Uther. And I believe that's going to be Sonya, going to be played by Equinox, and Collusion going to be there on Mirrodin.
Yeah, and for Gale Force Esports, we are going to have Crowan on the Li Ming. Fury will be on the ETC. Mike Udall, well, no surprise there, are going to be on the Melee Assassin Illidan. Rafflecopter is on the Kale Thos, and we're going to have Akaface on the Rhaegar. So, right out the gates here, we talked about the power of the composition. But the cheese coming out from Astral, they're going to be getting that early advantage with the Sylvanas there, taking out half. That's probably going to be a full turret here. They have scouted, and they do not know the rotation's not going to be coming down, but it's not going to matter, I don't think. The Gravity Lap's hitting only one target. Tassadar burning his ear at this point. They will be able to walk out, and that is a turret already for Astral.
That is huge. When you talk about the power of Sylvanas able to lock down those structures, more interesting, we had Sonya in that top lane and paired up there. They completely ignored the middle lane very early on. I was wondering if we were actually going to be seeing that split push between the top and the bottom, but so far, early advantage in terms of structure. I mean, that's a very good start, Drit.
I mean, the confidence coming out of Fury, though, giving Equinox a sweet, sweet B step. So, I mean, he's showing that he's going to establish dominance here in this game, but already it is a turret. You know, it's not a major advantage, really, when you look at Astral. They got a little bit of help there coming from Sylvanas, but right now, it's going to be even footing for these teams, and we've talked about how terrifying we feel like Gale Force's comp is when we go into the T5 phase.
Well, we see three members facing off. It basically forced the rotation of Gale Force down to the bottom lane, and now you can see the returned aggression. You talk about the poke potential, and this is something we highlighted in the draft, is the fact that you've got Kel'Thas and Li Ming on that backside. They're already getting some structure damage in here, and there's not a whole lot Astral Authority seems to be able to do about it.
Yeah, and Sonya making a rotation to mid. Mike Udall actually going to get stunned out, and I think that's going to be his life at this point. It is Mike Udall falling down. Astral gaining another small advantage here for them. Oh, man, really well done. Showing early dominance, I feel like, in rotational advantage from Astral. Not something that I kind of expected. Actually, going into this tournament, I felt like Gale Force was going to be, in my opinion, at least top 3. So Astral underdogs right now. I feel like I haven't given the respect they deserve here, J-How.
I think they're getting their respect, but Gale Force, I think, receives mutual respect right now. The siege camps have now spun. This is a time where it's almost time for our first tribute of the game, and where those teams start to prioritize that rotation there. Level 4 being picked up by both teams. Our first tribute's on the way, Dred.
Yeah, and we do see Mike Udall is actually backed out there. He is going to be taking the Giant Camp, and it will be split pushing a little bit for them if the tribute does manage to spawn on the upper half of the map. It is RNG at this point. Nobody is able to calculate it quite yet, so hopefully that works out into their favor here. But no major advantage, a little bit of an XP lead, 25%, 1 kill, a little bit of structures. Both the teams kind of dancing out, feeling each other out here, but I feel like I still favor Fury just because he established dominance with the B step.
I mean, we look at Uther's level 4. He's going for a little bit of range to be able to poke away, to be able to deny the tributes. I mean, this is one of those things to where I don't think they have the poke potential to really go as Michael Udall getting stunned out here. Sonya going in, not able to follow up as Michael Udall is going to get out, but the first tribute is spawning in that bottom lane with those siege minions, which will make it much easier to clear up.
That's actually an interesting choice you brought up about the Uther level 4. Typically that's paired with the level 7 as well, which I feel like they need cleanse in this type of situation, but Crowan's going to get the delay here. Rotations, all the teams coming in. AA moving very close together here, getting the stun on Li Ming. That might be a life here.
Yeah, Crowan very low. We see Tassadar trying to get the damage on the back line. Frozen X having to use that Haunting Wave. Going to get out of there. The Flame Strike's going to hit there on Equinox. Not able to secure a kill just yet. They are going to go ahead and drop back and tap. Well, the fight continues, and Fury's going to be the first to fall there in that fight.
That was a huge win for Astral Authority. It put him in a position where I actually felt like that was the best engage they were going to get. Oh, but Sylph getting caught out. The delay actually leaving Crowan, hitting with the Q there, but it cost him his life at this point. He will be going down, and instead, a situation where it looked like they may be on even footing, slowly but surely Astral Authority getting more and more of a lead here.
Yeah, they are now channeling. That's the first tribute going there. 2 more. That's going to be the first curse, but we do see a very even fight so far. Level 7 has already been picked up. Michael Udall, the slam, almost secures the kill there. He has got to be careful against that Sonya.
Yeah, against the Sonya, and also I wanted to shout out for Equinox to actually try and get the splash damage there, even though he did not spec into it at level 4 to try and confirm the kill. Really heads-up play coming out from him. Bottom wall is slowly falling for Astral Authority here, and they have almost secured a level lead at this point, and a tribute. This is really rough if you're Gale Force.
I mean, looking late game, this bottom lane is their favorable boss lane. If they can continue to do work, you talk about the power of Sylvanas to be able to lock it down. If they are able to get that boss at any point, you have to be very careful with your rotations to make sure and defend that. The stun coming out, but on this backside, we do see Michael Udall, and this is what Illidan does best to grab these Merc camps. This is the second tribute. It's about to spawn here in about 10 seconds.
And it spawns in favor positionally for Astral Authority by a large margin, but this is a risky tribute. So it's a situation where with how big of a level disadvantage you see Gale Force Esports at, the next tribute is going to be dancing around level 10 for Astral Authority and not them. So if they are not able to get this, the next tribute will be a curse and 10 advantage here. But a good stun coming out for them, but this is going to be a rough skirmish here.
Yeah, we saw the delay already coming out. Gravity Labs going in with that Flame Strike, not able to do a whole lot on Chimera there, who had the shield, but we see the return fire as Collusion going in, starting to get into that back line, but he's got to be very careful. Trees on this backside has got to be careful on his positioning. Frozen X, he's getting body blocked. Can they get the follow-up? The fight is on both sides here as Equinox going very deep, but Trees very low, just manages to miss those magic missiles with that shift there, Dread.
Yeah, really heads up play there to use his E to be able to dodge the missiles coming out from Li Ming. Right now, health bars are slightly in favor of Gale Force Esports. They have a little bit going on here, but we need to be watching Michael Udall, his positioning here. Fury actually posturing a little bit too out, power sliding onto the Sonya, but the cleanse is going to come out here.
The cleanse did save on that bottom side. Michael Udall is having a retreat once again. The dwarf toss in. Rafflecopter is going to go down here. Kel'Thas, will they get the follow-up? But the return kill there onto Tassadar with that orb.
The reset coming in. Huge plays coming out from Cohen this entire time. Collusion going down as well. Another reset. Illidan now. Everybody's getting low. Huge orb coming out. He's actually going to be able to survive the situation. The spin to win. Equinox actually is going to be falling down here. The reset after reset. Cohen, the legend here, just slowly ascending to the heavens. That is the only reason their team had success in that team fight. Very well done coming out from Gale Force.
If you want to make a name for yourself here at Dreamhack, play Li Ming. I mean, that is the absolute playmaker. We talk about her not necessarily being in high favor in the draft, but when she is in there, she was last pick, and she's showing Michael Udall here trying to get his minion waves up. Level 10 getting really close here, Dread. They were able to close that gap.
Yeah, and it's a situation where we've seen kind of Mike Udall constantly dancing with death. I feel like his positioning may be a little bit too aggressive in a majority of these team fights here, and I don't know if that's going to punish him. Right in the late game, all it takes is one mistake on the side of Illidan, and it will cost him the game here. So he needs to be a little bit more patient here and heads up with the situation. But now Tribute's going 1-1. Both teams closing, are picking up 10 here. No surprises when it comes to the heroics, though. So very standard game coming from both teams.
I mean, the experience is dead even. They're on point with their rotations to the camps. We see Equinox on one side, we see Michael Udall on the other. Both characters can help sustain there, but the next tribute is going to be here. This is only going to be curse number 2, so if things don't work out in your favor, you can back off of this.
Yeah, so now be watching in this team fight, guys. Be looking for the Wailing Arrow. I feel like that's going to be really crucial to the team fight. Actually getting caught out a little bit there in the rotations. Mike Udall going to be dashing out. Positional advantage high in favor. Oh, but the cleanse coming out to keep him alive here, J-Hal.
Rowan is going to go ahead and retreat. We do see going in with that Divine Shield very early there as we see Equinox trying to do damage. The Phoenix has been drawn out on the backside. Frozen trying to get in there, but he is going to be delayed by the Flame Strike. And so this is the standoff that we're waiting for. The stun coming down, but now Frozen under assault here by Michael Udall on the backside, but very low on the other side as we now see the Ancestral has been used. The Mosh Pit only going to land onto Muradin, not going to follow. But Michael Udall is an absolute terror back here.
And Equinox has actually been chasing Rafflecopter this entire time, the split between these two teams. He actually gets the kill. Equinox actually showing the power of Sonya, smashing everybody's face, and Akaface confirms the kill. But meanwhile, its teams have gone 1 for 1. The health bar slowly falling on the side of Astral Authority here.
A lot of the biggest heroics have been used. Nice dwarf toss to avoid that power slide, but this is going to be tribute number 2 as Michael Udall channels this. The amount of damage going out in these fights is crazy, and that's a 1-for-1 trade here, Dread.
It really seems like the mentality when Astral approaches a team fight here is that we know Illidan's going to dive the back line. Let's just have Sonya smash theirs faster. And I feel like as right now that's going to be working out, but as this game moves on, I feel like that's not going to be the case. But because the Giants were captured at the same time in the tribute spawn on the bottom half of the map, Astral get a little bit of value here in the upper lane.
You talked about boss control in the draft, and look at this already, just no hesitation getting on their boss. Gale Force understanding this, jumping on theirs as well, so it's going to be a trade here on the bosses with Astral Authority picking theirs up probably slightly sooner. But who makes the rotations here? I mean, this is the thing. Whoever makes the right rotation, this could be huge.
Yeah, it's all about timing when it comes to boss control on this map. But the board on the bottom half of the map for Astral Authority has already been taken out of front wall and is already damaged a little bit, so we'll be gaining a bit more value for them than Gale Forces, but it's so early in the game. These bosses have little to no effect. It's actually more of like kind of a deny play moving on to the next tribute than it is necessarily an aggressive one for them now.
It's a complete mirror. They're both grabbing camps right after, the exact same rotations, and they all head middle. Is this going to be the precursor to our next team fight as we now see Sylvanas going in, locking down some of these towers, but the camps are going to be pushing. It has to favor Sylvanas, but you have to be very careful. Both teams dead even as Michael Udall diving in once again, and he is going hard. He's not backing off, and he finally does drop back as the fight starts to come in. Rafflecopter being caught out, and Kel'Thas goes down.
Yeah, now that's going to be 0 contention here. Tribute's probably going to fall 2 for 2. Astral, man, really great job. I feel like Rafflecopter has actually been getting caught out quite a bit here, and Collusion has done a great job. I feel like every one of his Storm Bolts hits a priority target. I don't think I've seen him really go for ETC or a kill at the front line at all. It's like Gleaming out of position, stunned. Kel'Thas stunned. It's just left and right. He's done a very good job of leading his team in these fights.
They basically ignored that boss. Top fort does go down, and we do see Gale Force cleaning up theirs in the bottom, but they made the rotation to go ahead and continue to get that structure damage as they pushed middle and started to touch a little bit on that fort in the middle, but it's now 13 to 13.
Man, dead even game here between these two. It is kind of beautiful to watch the almost like dance between the two. Neither one kind of fully skirmishing. It's just like, you know, you'll get your boss, we'll get ours. You get your knights, we'll take ours as well.
6 kills
I mean,
6 kills.
I mean, Giants taken on one side, we'll get him on the other, you know. I mean, the question is who's leading this dance. And right now, I feel like it's Astral, even though we reiterated in the draft that I felt like Gale Force has been the team to kind of beat when it comes to the draft. But positional advantage for Equinox here.
Yeah, this is going to be the fight over the Curses of Phoenix, coming out very early on that backside. Tree's taking a bunch of damage, but we do see Equinox going in hard.
There's
Michael Udall very low here, as now we see Udall, but the Mystical Spear is going to be able to get there. Can Michael Udall get the dive over? And he does get that friend or foe at level 4, but where's the return damage as Chimera ends up eating a lot of those magic missiles, and we do see Michael Udall getting by the skin of his teeth there.
Keep in mind, he actually burnt Metamorphosis as well, so he's not going to have that for this team fight, but the spin to win, Equinox moving very aggressively, actually getting the W, and T-Shield has already been burnt out, and Ancestral healing very late. It looks like they're going to try and force this fight. Frozen X barely out of range. No, he is actually going to be in range. He burns his E here to try and get the gap closer, but this is going to be a huge fight.
Now we see the cleanse coming out. Equinox, is he going to be able to survive? Nice shields, nice heals coming in there as we see Collusion far on that backside, but Frozen X getting power slided onto. Will he be able to survive? Frozen X, nice haunting wave over the wall there to survive.
The focus fire on the side of Gale Force Esports. 2 targets go looking to the Murden into the back line there. He's going to dwarf toss to the wall and be safe. Everybody else going to be on Frozen X, and that is not going to be enough to secure the kill. Wow, this is a very interesting situation to be in. So Giants on the bottom half has essentially negated the curse, actually. It's a beautiful choice to have that happen there in that lane. And because they actually forced the fight while the curse was happening, very little siege has happened on the side of Astral Authority. So now XP is still dead even. And structurally, they've only lost the top 4 here and bottom, obviously, with the boss place. So Gale Force on the back foot a little bit, but not too much here. And now they have Tribute advantage and a slight XP advantage.
Yeah, you talked about that Tribute advantage. They still are sitting on 2 Tributes, so the next one very easily could be a curse for them. Allow them to catch up and start to get that. Level 16, I mean, it's almost a mirror here. As now they're going on Collusion, the Gravity Lapse going in there, and now we see Equinox going in hard once again, forcing Gale Force back. The Force Wall has come out. Fury being targeted there. Can they get the kill? And down goes Fury.
Man, this is rough, and Equinox is trying to push harder and harder into this team fight, but they aren't going to get too much here. One thing I want to keep in mind is Gale Force, again, forcing that team fight in a situation to where even if it was bad for Astral Authority, there's going to be a fort behind them that they can easily withdraw to. Again, we've seen this kind of all day when it comes to the Illidan's. Where you take the team fight is absolutely crucial to your success here, and I feel like they need to be a little bit more patient and thoughtful when it comes to that. But, oh my goodness, Equinox gets deleted.
The Gravity Lapse there, Dread. I mean, in 0 or 100 to 0 real quick there. Michael Udall looking for another target. We do see the little bit of dismount coming out there from Tacit. Our Collusion is going to be the target. That's going to allow Michael Udall to stay in the fight, but you can see the positioning from Collusion, not spreading that living bomb, that chain bomb that's built in there as he rotates around, and they are able to get the retreat there.
It's Tribute now. If it's going to be able to spawn in the near future, it will be a disadvantage for Astral Authority with Equinox going to be dead on the Sony for 15 more seconds. Both camps going to be captured for a GFE. They do have a slight timing advantage on those as well here. Both teams hitting 16, and again, Tribute advantage 2 to 0 at this point. So this next Tribute is going to be a game changer, especially if lives are lost on the team of Astral Authority and Gale Force manage to capture it. They need to be very patient and thoughtful of this next fight.
They are trading kills every time. Something has to break in this match, and it's just a matter of time. And we see the party bush around this boss on the side of Astral Authority. You see them rotating up, trying to get a different party push. Will we see the engagement? There's the Phoenix, there's the Gravity Lapse. Chimera being targeted on that backside. But Michael Udall going in. Equinox starting to get split from his team. Has to be very careful. We see Astral Authority starting to rotate over, but there's that Earth Grasp to level 16. Divine Shield already being used. Wailing Arrow has come out, and we see Equinox going in. The Ancestral landing onto Rafflecopter, and you can see Gale Force retreating once again here, Dread.
Man, the spamming Akaface there, he was silenced the whole time. I can only imagine the abuse his keyboard receive to get that Ancestral healing out as fast as he could. But now Tribute is spawning. Health bars are very low for both of the teams. Mike Udall already posturing up, Metaforcing in to delay, but look at the backline for Gale Force Esports here, J-How.
It is getting really tough. Collusion being targeted by Michael Udall, but the stuns now have been returned. Avatar has been popped, but Chimera going to be the first of all. The resets are going to be there, and down goes Sonya as well. Can they get the follow with the power slide going in? That's going to be Frozen X going down. That is a 3-for-0 trade. Will they, Dread, what do they do here?
They're going to take the boss here, and then you capture the Tribute as late as possible. When you get done with that, somebody's going to be probably clearing the top lane because those Giants are going to negate the curse. After that, you're maybe going to take out mid-fort and then posture around your top boss. Worst case scenario, if you are on Astral Authority. That's what I was talking about. If they manage to lose lives before this Tribute, that is going to be a huge swing. They don't even opt into it. They don't want to play the safe game here. Instead, they're going to just pushing the bottom keep. But look at Murden responding in the upper half of the map, realizing those Giants are doing a lot of pressure.
It is, but down in the bottom lane on the side of Astral Authority, that is a boss coming.
Yeah.
That is Siege Giants coming right in. This is a curse. This is going to be a keep to ball. They have to be very careful with their positioning not to lose anybody right here. But that keep is going down so quick, and that boss hasn't even been touched, Dread.
Yeah, I wondered, but the pick is actually going to come out here. Murden's going to get stun locked there. Equinox getting the spin to win. D-Shield's going to be going on to him. Metamorphosis on the back line, but look at Rafflecopter. He's going to be going down here. Mike Udall is struggling a little bit as well while he's crowing. Everybody's health bars on the side of GFE is going down.
We do see the continued fight. Trees in a bad position, gets the power slide onto him, and down goes Tassadar. The boss is now on the core as we see Rhaegar going to return and die here. And now we see another kill, but the boss is there. And now we see Crowan in a very bad spot. Li Ming, can she get over the wall? Is she going to survive? Down goes Li Ming. That's 4 members down for Gale Force, but the boss starting to chunk away at the core here, Dread.
So I want to take a quick minute to appreciate the team fight decision making when it came to Gale Force, or where they tried to take it. So by not opting with the first decision I kind of threw out there with posturing around top, getting rid of it, and then moving to the other boss, they essentially went to a position where they needed to get kills, or they weren't going to be able to win the game. It's too early and the bosses are a little bit too weak. Now with the aggression and decision making they made, they ended up wiping and now put it in a position, yes, you got the core down to 69%, that's permanent damage, no fuel, but now you have risking essentially your own boss, which is now going to be hitting the W coming out there. Chimera getting stunned out here, but I don't think it's going to matter because a lot of targets aren't going to be alive. This is a bold move for Fury.
I mean, this is now just a complete turnaround because now we see Gale Force going to be in a very similar spot compared to what Astral Authority was under. Equinox, oh, the mosh pit has come in. Equinox, can he survive? Fury is going to be staying in there. Is he going to be alive? Fury goes down. ETC going to be falling here, and now the boss is going to be pushing, and that is going to be a full minute before he's back. Level 20 is just around the corner, Dread, and this boss is pushing 5 versus 4 with nothing but a keep standing in the way between the goals.
Another thing coming up from Gale Force Esports, essentially the decision making left open that boss, left open that risk, and now with Fury being very desperate there, and the Giants pushing the entire time that they failed to clear, put into a position where now they're going to be able to get the keep, and guess who now is looking to go for the core? Astral Authority getting pressured there. Actually, Mike Udall getting rooted out, Cleanse being forced, and Metamorphosis.
Yeah, this is going to be huge, and this is still a 5v4 as we see Equinox starting to take a lot of damage, but he is going in. The Divine Shield has been popped, and they are going straight for the core here, Dread, as we see the boss is on there. The shield is gone. The Storm Shield has been popped. We see the nice shift out of there by Trees, and this is going to be game number 1, going over to Astral Authority. This is unbelievable, the turnaround here, Dread.
I feel like all of that came down to Gale Force's decision making. 100% of it felt like what they decided to do with that curse, with that boss, was the only reason they were on the back foot. Then Fury getting a little bit desperate, it felt like there when it came to the boss. It would have hurt, it really bad, but I don't think it would have secured the game 100%, risking that 3 versus 5 there. But man, Astral, man, it was very impressive.
Gale Force had a curse,
Yes.
Siege Giants, and a boss, all pushing bottom lane.
Yes.
Couldn't finish the game. It was still early.
It's too early. The boss
But
doesn't
they
scale
lost
that
that fight.
effectively. You remember that video we were referencing earlier? I might have talked a little bit of how I feel like boss is actually really overrated, especially in the early to mid game. I mean, I feel like it hadn't hit necessarily the power spike, especially without getting a couple of kills. If they had baited the team fight away from the keep and looked to get that, but essentially they would have gotten bottom keep no matter what with that boss, with the curse happening, if they would have just taken out the front wall, let the boss push. But then you could have done the exact same thing with the top keep as well with your boss later on.
Did they
after the
overcommit
keep
in the bottom?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is the only reason I feel like Astral got into that position, but they adapted exactly how they needed to, right? You were in a situation, you lost your keep, your core's at 69%. How can you make sure that you win the game? You go, okay, we're going to be hyper-aggressive. We're going to go for their boss. We need to be the ones taking the fight on their half of the map, and that's exactly what they do. One mistake from Fury, and guess what? Astral wins the game.
Yeah, I mean, that was the name of the game, especially going into the late game. It was so even throughout the entire match. Trading, almost never anyone dying, just super sustained, just like forever living it seemed. But once we got to the late game, let's take a look at this replay. We saw that overcommitment on the boss, but I really want to highlight Equinox's play on Sonya with that Divine Shield. Now, the big push here, this keeps guaranteed to go down. Safe push could have happened for sure. It almost seemed like there would be no defense for Astral Authority, but look at this Divine Shield enabling Equinox to go in. He misses the Ancient Spirit, doesn't matter. Gets a confirm there on the kill for Kill Thoughts. From here, they're able to snowball this. Michael Udall in a bad spot, trying to get away, and they're just cool, calm, collected, going in, diving Fury. Fury gets that kill. Equinox has been cleaning up, picks up another kill, just shredding through the team of Gale Force, which looked like they were going to end it all. Yes, the boss is on the core, but it doesn't matter. They pick up another kill. From here, they just walked over to the other boss, found that one mistake that you mentioned, and they cleaned it all up. Such a crazy game. I called that the God comp, the unbeatable comp. Astral Authority proved me. I'm eating crow so hard right now.
I just want to say that by going against my instinct, I got that prediction right. But also, I really want to reiterate, the lack of clearing Giants was the only reason that win condition was opened up so easily for Astral Authority at the end there. I feel like that neglecting that lane and trying to force the win there was very panicked for Gale Force.
Equinox, the minute things looked bad, never doubted himself.
Yep.
Never doubted himself and stayed aggressive and turned that fight around. That was incredible.
I'm very impressed by Equinox. Like, not from series to series as well. Like, how he is able to play out these things. Playing Sonya, you play that fine line, right? Where it's like, am I insane or am I actually going the right distance? And most people would say, oh, okay, I'm insane, I'm dead. But actually, he's able to transcend that, and you see that actually going
The
down
Divine Shield engage, he's like, give me freedom to go forward, my friends.
I love this.
I think actually a really beautiful thing to keep in mind, though, we keep saying how well Equinox played, and I'm not going to take away from that at all. It's actually the fact that it was paired with Wailing. In every single situation, the backline was dove. There was a Wailing arrow to accent it, and I feel like that's the only time we've seen Sylve really work with the remainder of her team to be successful.
If you're silenced, there's nothing really to compete with when it comes to Sonya. If she's on you, she's on you. It's difficult. Don't forget, of course, to check out gear.blizzard.com and claim a 15% discount on all Heroes of the Storm's goodies there for a limited time only. Code right down there for you if you so prefer. And we are going to a break, but when we are back, it will be game number 2 between Astral Authority and Gale Force Esports.